Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Penguin Nonsense. I am your host, Edith, and thank you for joining us. As y'all can tell, the scenery is a little different. We are outside today, um, so thank you for joining us. I hope it does not start to rain. It is a little cloudy. I don't know if y'all could tell through the camera or not. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're listening to us on Spotify, you can't see it, right? But it is a little cloudy. We did start to get some raindrops. I'm hoping we can breeze by this and with no rain at all. So, without further ado, let's get on to our stories of the day. So, our first story comes from Hong Kong. It was an interesting story that I ran across a video of this bear that just kind of looked too thin. And as the commentators were saying, something that looked a little more like a human wearing a costume. So I decided to follow up on where this story was coming from, and I found an article. It was from Hong Kong on CNN, and the world's smallest bear is finally having its moment in the sun, thanks to a viral video that sparked a conspiracy theory on Chinese social media. Public interest in sun bears, one of Asia's most endangered and intriguing animals, has rocketed after the video footage emerged showing a bear named Angela in her enclosure at the Hanzhou Zoo in eastern China, standing upright on a rock and waving her paw. The video sparked a global debate about bears' uncannily human-like appearance. So much so that the conspiracy theories began emerging that Angela was really a human dressed in a bear costume. Experts have since debunked the theories, attributing the misunderstandings in part to the relatively obscurity of the sand bear, whose numbers in the wild are thought to have dwindled to between 1,000 to 2,500 according to the conservation groups. Various wildlife conservation told CNN that they now hope that all the attention surrounding Angela will help to raise awareness about the sun bear's plight. They face threats including deforestation and poaching for the illegal wildlife trade. These bears are also commonly used in commercial bear biofarming, kept alive in tiny cages so their intestinal bile can be used and harvested and extracted in painful ways for use in traditional Chinese medicine. And so they were going on to say, before I read this whole entire article, that they are happy that this bear has gotten some spotlight or some, like, people know about this bear now because they're hoping that with this now knowledge of the sun bear, that people start to be more helpful to those organizations who are helping to keep this endangered species going. And apparently, this is just very normal looking bear. Apparently they look that way. They are that way. The skinny-ish features and stuff. But we don't often hear about these bears because they're so endangered that we don't even see them in wild that often. Especially for China. So they were really happy that this video did go wild as it went to, and they did debunk all the theories about this bear just being a human in costume. And I think it's funny to me because I saw the video and I was like, yeah, I don't know, I am a little skeptical too. This bear could possibly be a human. And mainly because I had seen this like commercial for this movie or something, where it was like I think the zoo was like going into bankruptcy, and they didn't have like the the money to be able to have all these animals. So a lot of the staff was dressing up in costume animals, like animal costumes, to be able to like be out there and pretend they were the animal. So, it was a theory that was out there. Very likable theory, just by the shape that the animal was in, the skinniness of it and that kind of stuff. But According to everything else, every fact checker checked out that this is a normal bear. This is normal looked, and the bear is fine. It is a real one. And I hope that we can keep giving it the news it needs and the help it needs to hopefully be able to keep the species going. We have a lot of animals that are in danger, and sadly, it's due to all these poaching, these deforestation stuff, making more homes, making more roads, more constructions, and everything, and kicking out these animals out of their natural homes. And then we get mad when they show up in our lawns and stuff. Well, it was their home first. I understand that we need to keep making new homes for like people and whatnot, but at the same time, it's like we're also abandoning a bunch of buildings for no reason. So it's just a thought. I know this is something that's going on, and I think everybody has their different opinions on it, but I think there's definitely a better way to go about this so our animals and our poachers maybe like have better laws to protect any of these animals. So I definitely do think it's a food for thought type of story, and I hope you guys, are more aware of like any of our endangered species and how y'all can help them. So on to our second story. Today's story is once again from Reddit. It is from the Am I the A-hole forum, and this story is very short, but I thought it was just a cute little interesting story, and I just want people's opinions to see, because I think this one's gonna be quite a half and half situation. So this is a throwaway account. It says, "Hi everyone. Today my wife came into my gaming room at our house and told me she was going out to the store to make a return. The store is only about 10 minutes from our house. After an hour, I called her to see where she was, only to find out that she was hanging out with her friend. When she got home about 5 hours after she initially left the house, I told her that I was angry that she had lied to me about what she was going to do. Her position is that she didn't lie to me because, regardless of whether or not she told me that she was going to hang out with her friend, she still went to the store to return the item that she was planning to return. My position is that she lied because she admittedly had already made plans to hang out with her friend, but completely left that out when she told me she was going to the store to return the item. We just had a big argument about the situation, with my wife saying that she didn't realize she needed to tell me every single detail about everything she was going to do for the day. I didn't want to I didn't want the details about every single little thing that she was going to do. I just feel like she should have told me that she was going to hang out with her friend instead of conveniently leaving that part out." And it goes on to say, "Am I the a-hole?" Ah, this one for me, I want to say like I think this one just differs from people to people. And I'm not saying there's toxic or whatnot, but I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're that toxic girlfriend because you have to know about every move that your boyfriend is doing and that kind of stuff," and or that toxic boyfriend because you have to know everything that your girlfriend is doing. And I feel like that has become such a norm to be toxic in relationships, or to be the toxicness as normal. Um, so for me, honestly, in our relationship between me and Jose, it's very rare that we tell each other what we're doing 24/7. Heck, he might be lucky if he gets a text from me like 8 to 9 hours throughout the day before I tell him good morning, or hey, you alive type of thing. Like, we are not very like clingy to each other, and I have to know exactly what he's doing in this very moment or second. So to me, this was kind of like the girl went out to the store to return an item. She didn't tell her boyfriend that, no, I think it's husband and wife. Yes, husband and wife. She didn't tell her husband that, she was going to be also hanging out with a friend while she was doing this. Um, I later read on in a comment that apparently his wife did go to the store to return the item with that friend. So they both went to the store to return some items. They both just had to return some goods and whatnot. And then went throughout the day, did some shopping, and went home. No, went to eat, and then I think they went home. So she did initially go do what she said she was going to do. Whether or not she told him, hey, I went with my friend or not, I think it didn't need to go to where it escalated because he says they ended up having an argument about this. And so I don't think it was worth the argument. Like, okay, they went with a friend. Okay, you should have been more like, oh, I went to return some stuff and so came along, and the guy should have been more like, oh, we haven't seen them in a while. How they been doing? That kind of stuff. Like, why make it an argument? She literally just went, did what she had to do. If she didn't tell you, it's because she probably didn't see the reason to. And chances are, if he was playing, because he says he was in the gaming room at that time, probably a lot of people are gonna come at me for this, but usually when gamers are gaming, they don't care what else you're doing in this house. If you interrupt them from the game, they're gonna be more mad at the fact that you interrupted them. So she was probably just doing just fine, just to be like, hey, I'm going out right now. I'm not going into the details of it because you're honestly not gonna pay attention, because honestly, I really don't. um, so I feel like she didn't do anything wrong. Throughout the comments and everyone, he was declared the a-hole for breaking this such an argument. I'm not a big believer that you need to tell your girlfriend or boyfriend that what you're doing every moment of your waking life. You do you, but I know that there's some people do expect that. There's trauma. Everybody has trauma, and sometimes they do it for the comfort of knowing that you're okay. So to each their own. But I'm really interested to see what your takes on this, that kind of stuff. So I always try to leave a comment and see what you guys thought on this situation. But I definitely do think he was the a-hole. I don't think it should have been a big deal, but that's just because that's me. I am not a clingy person. Just as much as I forget to text back my friends, I forget to text back my boyfriend, and it is what it is. So, unless we made plans, then obviously I want to let him know, hey, I'm going to go be doing this before we go do that. Are you okay with it? Type of things. But like, other than that, he doesn't need to know where I'm at, and I don't ask him where he is at unless it's just part of the conversation. Oh, hey, what are you doing today? That kind of stuff. But like, other than that, no. So I think just to each their own. But onward to our third story of the day. These mosquitoes out here are eating me alive, but I think it's just because it's rain. This one also came from a video that I saw. It was this vet who was going around and giving veterinary care to pets of people who are homeless. I think it's no big secret that the U.S. has a pretty big number of homeless people out here in the U.S. And sadly, that also means that some people have these pets who might be homeless, and they don't necessarily get the care that they need to be, gotten throughout their lives and stuff like that, because the humans, obviously their owners, cannot afford it. So this veterinarian goes around, and like, if he finds a homeless person with a dog or a pet, that kind of stuff, he stops by, does some checkups. If they need vaccinations, he gives them vaccinations. He gives them medicine for flea and tick, that kind of stuff. And I just thought it was wholesome. So I was wondering if there was any articles on him, on like what he was doing. And there is, and he actually does have a website. The website is called www.projectstreetvet.org. And here's what their mission is. Project Street Vet is a 501 nonprofit public charity that provides free veterinary care, treatment, and support to the pets of individuals experiencing homelessness and or housing vulnerability. Project Street Vet was founded by Dr. I'm going to say his name wrong. I think it's Kane or Kawan. One of the other ways. It's Kwane. Stewart. That's his last name, Dr. Stewart. who for the past decade has provided free veterinary care to pets for people experiencing homelessness, walking areas of high homelessness to seek pets and pet parents in need. You can read his full bio in the website. It says they are committed to protecting the human-animal bond that is so vital to the livelihood of pets and people who love them, leading compassion, kindness, and no judgment will we seek out and assist the pets and people who need it the most. So, what do? It says that since 2020, they have provided the free vet care, and they call it street vet work. And it's free clinics and free financial assistance for anyone who wants to sign up for their financial assistance, or anybody who might just need the work. They take in volunteers, supporters, partners, and team members, and are very grateful to their impact that they're doing for these people, and hope that they can keep growing their community to make these dreams come true. So when I saw this, I thought this was amazing, because you do always get to hear about these doctors who go into this volunteer work in other countries or whatnot to bring medicine and supplies, medication supplies, and all that kind of stuff to indigenous places that might need it, or homelessness places that might need it, that kind of stuff, to give them care for whatever it is that they might need, because they can't afford to go to an actual doctor place or a hospital or whatever it is. So I think that it's great that there's a vet out there doing this, because everybody loves their fur babies. I think for the most part, if you get a pet, it's because you really want a pet and you love them. I know there is a few cases out there, or a lot of cases out there, who mistreat their animals and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, I think the people who do have them do end up loving their pets quite a lot. But I feel like in the sense of homelessness, in order for you to keep your pet as a person who is homeless, they were saying how usually they tend to be the people who will do anything for their pets. Like if they have a meal, they would probably eat a little bit and then give the rest to their pets. And the video that I happened to see, there was one where a lady had commented that she was walking out and had a pizza in her hand because they had ate a little bit of it, but they had most of it left. And she was walking out, and there was a homeless guy with his dog, and she was like, she just felt inclined to give it to them, and she was like, here's some pizza, would you like it? And the guy was like, oh yeah, thank you. And he's like, this little guy is gonna love it. And so he took a piece for himself, and then he gave the rest of the pizza to the dog. And that was just beautiful. Like, a lot of these people, they end up doing a lot for their pets. They really do care for these pets, because it's the only thing they do actually have without not having a home. That's the one love they get to feel at night. That's the one love. They know that these pets love them unconditionally. They don't know their owner's situation because they're pets, but they do know that they're giving this unconditional love to this person. I think that person ultimately feels wanted and loved, and they need that. So I'm glad that this person that's out there, going out there and giving this medical treatments to them, and hopefully giving them their best life. So they do have a GoFundMe page and their website that you can go and donate money so they can keep doing this project. So because we all know the people who do take the people to the vets and whatnot, they know that a vet bill is expensive. Just medicines itself is expensive. So I'm glad that there's the people like this who can provide this for people who can't afford it. So that's our last story for today. Very short episode, but I really wanted to run by it because I didn't want to get rained on. Mosquitoes are killer. So I did this for you guys, okay? So thank you for tuning in. Please keep following us on our Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And I will see you again next Monday. Bye, everybody.